The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's very true with Angel Reese's mom. Now, I don't like to go after people's parents unless they become a story of the sport. In this case, she's part of
Angel Reese's mother exploded when Caitlin Clark destroyed TV ratings like a backboard by herself, and no, it wasn't because of a foul call. This was not a kind greeting, rather, it was Mama Reese's full-court social media push, sportsmanship, or mere pettiness wrapped in a shiny hat. The competitor of your daughter becomes the ratings queen. So buckle up. Let's analyze this courtroom drama in a way that has never been done before.
This news will probably leave Angel Reese's mom in shambles at this point. Of course, she's up.
While Caitlin Clark was dominating the Nielsen charts, Angel Reese's mother was not having any of it. By this, we mean that she performed Olympic-level mental acrobatics to explain that her daughter was clearly the universe's top-ranked TV personality, as if she were seeking revenge for every. According to reports, Angel Reese's mother, wearing a crown made of LSU apparel and brandishing a tote bag that said, "My daughter is better than yours," wanted whoever was in control of broadcast sports and possibly the galaxy itself after her name was misspelled on a Starbucks cup.
Caitlin Clark, had almost 15,000 people in that arena, basically sold out at Carver. And she tweeted this.
Oh, that certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance, while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championships, banners. We ain't the same. Different year, same haters. Have a great day. Well, aren't you the same hater of Caitlin Clark, living off her coattails?
I find this highly unnecessary. It sounds like hateration to me. And this is what I mean by insecurities.
Because it's clear that the Illuminati's intricate, multi-layered scheme against the Baton Rouge monarchy was the sole reason Reese's preseason game received little attention. America, meanwhile, just ignored it. They all shrugged, blinked, and said, "Wait, who is LSU playing again?" and promptly went back to. The entire community had already left to watch Caitlin Clark hit three-pointers from a distance when Reese's mother took to social media like she was spearheading a revolution. It was like comparing a firecracker to the Super Bowl firework finale to watch Caitlin Clark force defenders to reconsider their life choices in real time. Honestly, NASA should be doing some measurements.
She made a couple of comments a couple of days ago about people literally covering statistical data involving attendance. That's a problem. That's hate. We aren't the same. Okay.
You're awarding participation prizes as a publicity stunt. Angel Reese would have needed a second trophy case just for the preseason. Her mother would still have been able to see her warm-up routines on a Times Square Jumbotron if ESPN had. There come the delusions and the "how dare you not worship my daughter" when Caitlin Clark airballed her fourth consecutive jumper, followed by the charge that she somehow interfered with the lighting. You are aware of which one we are discussing here.
Say something about Angel Reese's mom or anything Angel Reese related? Absolutely not. Why don't you just mind your own business and continue playing basketball and support your daughter, right? That's what you're supposed to do as a mother. Support your daughter and hope she does well in this league, right? Because you don't hear Caitlin Clark going after her, going, why is she at the Met Gala? Is really unnecessary and very petty of her, especially a grown-ass woman. But now I realize why Angel Reese the way she is. Because it's her mom.
Turn to the aforementioned preseason game, which was so bad that even the popcorn vendors were falling asleep between quarters. Only the families of the players, a few loyal friends, and one extremely confused man who thought he had strayed into the G League were present. It had so little energy that you could have balanced a "How can America not treat it like the Super Bowl, the Oscars, and the Beyoncé Renaissance tour all rolled into one game?" Keep your TikTok challenge with a water bottle on the court a secret from Angel Reese's mother.
This was a pre-season WNBA game. Do you understand what I mean? A pre-season WNBA game. By the way, why the hell is the Paige Beckers and Angel Reese ratings from Ion Network Friday, why are they MIA right?
Reese's world, where everyone cheers when you make a mistake and every missed layup is somehow part of the plan, there is no such thing as disappointing ratings. Reese's mother slipped on her symbolic cape and immediately started mitigating the damage after the data showed that it appeared to be a replay of Antique Roadshow, which drew in more spectators. Real queens don't need ratings to prove their worth, which is adorable if you ignore them, is an example of passive-aggressive statements, Instagram stories, and cryptic tweets. Don't worry, Angel Reese's mother had theories. Oh boy, did she have theories while she was busy redefining mid. Like she was trying out for Game of Thrones, Caitlin Clark glowed during every show. She is using wizardry instead of playing basketball. A sorting hat and a wand are the only items lacking. No, it was clearly a ruse. It's possible that the cameras were blurry when Reese was playing, and Clark wasn't being watched since she's engaging, talented, and occasionally defies the laws of physics.
Pettiness, this insecurity, this bravado, this inflated ego. It stems from the mom, man. It was unnecessary dig. Like, okay, you're still living off of college. The national title is literally 2 years ago with LSU. We're going on year 3 in a couple months. Why are you still living off that? How about you tell your daughter to work on her jump shot, stop missing layups? She missed a layup in the last preseason game. On a fast.
Maybe Venus was avoiding Mars, Mercury was in retrograde, and LSU's uniforms weren't tuned into the chakra frequencies required to draw in national viewers. Or maybe the streaming website had a covert algorithm that worked around the clock to suppress the stream. People's viewing habits couldn't be the cause. That would be too logical, too boring, and too painful. Something cosmically malevolent had to be at work. Perhaps the moon decided to disrupt the Wi-Fi signal because it was in a passive-aggressive mood. It's like expecting your nephew's lemonade business to outperform Starbucks because he used organic lemons, or getting angry because his garage band's first basement gig didn't outsell Taylor Swift's stadium tour. The pure, unadulterated humor of someone having a full-blown stage 5 breakdown over preseason numbers, not the championship, not the playoffs, should be appreciated for a moment.
Right here. The Fever Brazil game came to 1.3 million viewers. 1.3 million viewers to an exhibition game. Not even a preseason game. An exhibition game. An exhibition game. An exhibition game. They came to an exhibition game. Or say they came to watch an exhibition game. That was a 60-point game, and Caitlin Clark checked out at the end of the third quarter. And it averaged 1.3 million viewers, which is
But here's the worst part. Everyone else was only unwilling extras attempting to understand why their camera time was curtailed. The plot wasn't close or even competitive. It was Clark's show. Instead of winning the ratings war in a low-key manner, Clark made a TikTok highlight reel out of the entire scene, burnt the battlefield, dropped a microphone on the flaming wreckage, and scrawled her initials in the ashes like a medieval warlord. With a Sharpie, try changing the script. You'll need more than astrology and conspiracy theories to understand the amusing aspect of witnessing someone keep to a story when the scoreboard presents a completely different reality. Angel, this is just the beginning was quickly followed by this is a bias system that was planned by Clark's PR staff, ESPN, and possibly aliens. It was an art form.
Injuries related? Absolutely not. Why don't you just mind your own business and continue playing basketball and support your daughter? Right? That's what you're supposed to do as a mother. Support your daughter and hope she does well in this league, right? Because you don't hear Caitlin Clark going after her, going, why is she at the Met Gala? You know? It's really unnecessary and very petty of her, especially a grown-ass woman. But now I realize why Angel Reese the way she is. Because it's her mom. This pettiness, this insecurity, this bravado, this inflated ego.
Buzz in the Reese camp was muted, a candle and a mason jar were muted, and LSU's preseason was a masterclass in how to generate all the hype in the world and then completely sabotage the actual game. While the rest of us were too busy watching Clark emerge from the logo as if she harbored resentment toward the Nets, she kept her faith, though, and even doubled down when the ratings rolled in like receipts from a shopping spree. Performance and appearance. We know that preseason isn't supposed to be pyrotechnics, but Reese's felt more like a mandatory office fire drill, while Clark turned hers into a 4th of July showdown. It could have been thrilling, but it wasn't, of course. People start to question why the scoreboard seems like it belongs in a student crash league, even though Reese is a player. Her marketing machine portrays every dribble as a defining accomplishment and every look as a motivational TED Talk.
Really back, and so is that CC motion. Look, I know I've said before I don't want to talk about repeats, and this topic isn't really brand new, but it feels fresh in a sense because we finally saw Caitlin Clark back out.
The audience isn't cheering her on. They're just not expecting to see another press release about her changing the game, while it seems surprisingly unchanged, followed by the inevitable contrast. Clark vs. The Gap is more of an echoing void than a rivalry, even if it's really a cottage industry these days. Angel, Caitlin Clark is making news by selling out arenas and physically altering broadcast schedules. Reese is trending on Twitter. As a result of her mother's online outburst, let's think about the wider picture. Caitlin Clark's preseason game was like the opening of an Avengers movie. Reese's it was like a neighborhood yard sale at the preseason game. The other had seats that folded, food that was left behind, and a general sense of so that's it. Anxiety scale electricity was present in one. Nevertheless, if you checked your phone that day, you probably saw a grainy image of Angel in a power pose with an oddly ominous, encouraging quote. Perhaps the quote was along the lines of "Stars don't shine for approval. They just shine." It's a nice attitude if you ignore the fact that others were aiming their remote controls at a different channel.
Just won what I thought was a pretty easy game against the Atlanta Dream, but I want to focus on Caitlin Clark because I think she's gotten 10 times better over the offseason. The number one thing I like about Caitlin Clark in these first two preseason games is that she's been very efficient. In the first game, she was 6 for 10, second game 5 for 11. She could have got some more shots up, but the shot she did get.
Let's talk about those TV figures again. Instead of just beating Reese's ratings, Clark's dominated them. Clark didn't break the ceiling. She tore it off and handed it to Angel Reese with a little note that said, "Maybe next time." The irony of it all is that Clark doesn't appear to need a hype machine. She doesn't need to make cryptic tweets. She plays games that people watch, and she drains impossible shots that publish. Reese's game viewership, on the other hand, is comparable to the turnout for a Friday night spelling bee at a middle school. Reese has a fan base louder than a college marching band demanding attention for, well, largely just vibes at this point, but Aunt's cousin's dog trainer is defending her place in the game. You almost have to respect the commitment not to basketball, but to rework a failed preseason broadcast into a full-fledged persecution story that calls for the ingenuity and imagination of a mother who ought to be hosting a conspiracy podcast called "Why My Daughter Is Better Than Yours and You're Just Envious."
Caitlin Clark's literally just playing basketball. Like, I love Caitlin Clark so much. The number one reason is because she's literally being herself and pissing the world off. She isn't doing anything wrong. She's not saying controversial things. She's not out there shaking her booty on IG. She's not trying to get all attention or anything off of non-basketball things. It's just strictly...
Let's pause to acknowledge Reese's own silence during this entire ratings fiasco. She then retreated into the same media hush that follows a poor haircut, as if she had seen the numbers and blinked twice. Because, let's be honest, sometimes someone else might be the moment. Let mom handle it and let the stand spin it. When a professional opera singer overshadows you at karaoke night, it's the sporting version of that, claiming that the microphone is racist, but the real deal, and that Angel Reese isn't the target of all the accusations. The story would not match that, would it? Reese's mother is battling reality on social media with just inspirational memes and an unlimited data plan. Conversely, Clark's fans are too focused on recognizing actual wins, actual audience size, and basketball that is incomprehensible to them.
Preseason games generally aren't like a big thing in most seasons, but I don't know, this is like the Showtime fever. Like, this is crazy stuff. I mean, even in the first preseason game that Caitlin Clark was out in, the Indiana Fever and the Mystics, like, the Mystics went hard. The Brazilian national team, they went hard. But listen, the Brazilian national team...
Angel Reese is out there hoping that her mother's yelling into the algorithm will somehow make people care retrospectively, despite Clark controlling the court and the TV schedule. It won't spoiler alert, but hey, give credit where credit is due. The funniest thing about it all is that there are only practice matches instead of awards or titles. Maybe she should have dressed to fight. No number of angry posts from mom will erase the fact that Clark is already dominating, not only on the court, but also in the hearts and minds of Americans. Isn't just hype.